everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie, and hey to any newbies, and welcome back you regular watchers. Thanks so much for taking the time to check out my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a first impression and full face of makeup using Primark makeup. As Primark is a really affordable store here in the UK and Ireland, I thought it'd be really fun to create a whole look using their makeup and see how it works out. I've never actually tried Primark makeup before, so this will be a first. So I'm excited to see, and hopefully it works out well. If you do like this video, do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll get started with the tutorial. So guys, first of all, on a clean face, I'm going to go in with the primer. I actually, when I was in Primark, I found three type of primers that they had. They had a priming water, which was only £2, and I really wanted to buy that, but they only had a tester one and then no other actual bottles to buy, so that was a little bit annoying because I really wanted to buy that priming water. Then they had this like priming stick for I think oily skin, and I was going to try buying that, but every single one of them had already been opened and tried and they were really mashed up. And then the other type was an illuminating primer. Again, they had all been sort of like opened and none of them were brand new, and I didn't want to buy like a product that had been used on someone else's skin, which I thought was a bit gross. So they do need to get better at putting out testers so people don't keep opening all of the other ones. So because of that, yeah, I would have bought the priming water for the £2 one. It looked like personally the best for my skin type. I was excited to try that, so I'll hopefully be able to get that at a later date, and I'll let you guys know if I do get my hands on that. So because of that, I'm just going to go in with an LA Girl Pro Prep smoothing face primer, because this was similar to they had one that was sort of for oily skin, so I thought actually this is probably the closest I could get. So for foundations, I picked up two different Primark foundations. I picked up this liquid foundation semi matte finish, medium coverage, oil free one, and it was £2.50. So, and I got that in shade Sand. And then I also got the 2-in-1 foundation and concealer dewy finish. Concealer contains vitamin E, and I got this in shade Ivory. So this one has the foundation and then the concealer in the lid. So for today, I think I'll go in with this medium coverage one because the dewy one is a little bit more lightweight coverage. So yeah, I will open this and show you on the back of my hand so we can see how that looks, and we'll go in with the medium one to begin with. Hopefully this works okay. Oh, this 2-in-1 was £3, but actually it was on offer for £1, so I was like, I gotta pick this up, super cheap. So I'm just gonna squeeze out the product and pop it on my face. Color wise, they had actually a few shades to pick from. Some of them were like quite dark, and then they had a couple of light, but the light ones, like the light portion was like really light in this liquid foundation formula. So I went for the Sand, which I think is a slightly more cool tone, because the warm Sand was just really, really dark. So guys, I'm going to blend out the right side of my face with Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 to see how it blends out with a brush, and then I will blend out the other side using my beauty blender to see how it blends out with a sponge. So this is blending out quite easy with the Kabuki brush. You don't have to work too hard to actually get that to blend out, as it is quite a liquidy formula, but it's giving actually quite a nice coverage, but I wouldn't say it's very full coverage. It does claim to be a medium coverage. I can definitely still see my moles through that. I'm going to blend out the other side with my damp beauty blender and see how that blends out. I would say this foundation does blend out really easy. It's easy to blend it out and not be streaky, which I do like. So guys, that is the liquid foundation blended out. It's actually was very easy and quick to blend out, easier than I thought, because sometimes very cheap foundations like dry very quickly and it's hard to move around the product, but with this one it actually did really blend out really easy. The coverage, I would agree, is definitely more a medium coverage. It's not full coverage, and it's a semi-matte finish, and I would also agree with that. It's Still got a little bit of tackiness even though I used a more mattifying primer. So yeah, it definitely is a semi-matte. It feels quite moisturising actually on the skin. So I will quickly just show you this 2-in-1 foundation. I'll just open it, and this was in shade Ivory. So I'm not going to put this on, but I'll just show you what it looked like so you guys can see. So that's got a little concealer which is quite cool there with a little tiny mirror, which yes, you can actually use. So that's kind of cool. I may come back to that concealer if my other concealer that I bought isn't good. Here there's a little squeezy tube. I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand to show you guys in case any of you are interested, or also if you guys have more dry skin, then actually the dewy one might be better than the semi-matte. But I feel like this semi-matte isn't too matte, so actually unless you've got really dry skin, I feel like the semi-matte would probably be okay. So this is the 2-in-1 foundation and concealer dewy finish. That's it on the back of my hand. It is definitely feels a lot more moisturising and is not really drying on the back of my hand. It is definitely quite a dewy finish. So oily people I feel like wouldn't like this 2-in-1 foundation. It probably would be a bit too greasy and too moisturising and just slip off if you had oily skin. But for dry skin I could see that being quite good. So guys, for concealer I'm going to go in with this Instafix concealer crayon from Primark, and this was £2 and I got shade Light Ivory. I seen that they had like a little concealer that was like a lipstick style one where it's just like a little lipstick like shape concealer thing, but I didn't really like that style and it was only £1. I thought actually the £2 one might be better quality, but I didn't see any liquid concealers like a normal liquid with that type of concealer, so if I had seen one of those I would have definitely picked those up. But I thought this was the best concealer I could see. So it's like a crayon. So I've never really used crayon style concealer, so this is definitely trying something new. So I'm just going to draw this onto the under eyes. Yeah, I'm definitely used to using more liquidy concealers. So guys, I've just put concealer under my eyes, a little bit on my eyelids to act as primer, through the forehead, down the nose and on the chin, and a little bit on the upper lip just to lighten and brighten. So I'm just using my Morphe E8 brush, which I really love this brush for blending out my concealers, but like I said, I usually use liquid concealers, so I may need to change over to my beauty blender if this doesn't blend out okay with this brush. So it's actually blending out okay. It's quite a creamy consistency on the crayon even though it's not a liquid. So that's the side blended out with the little brush. I'm going to blend out the other side with my beauty blender and see how that blends out. So the beauty blender isn't really blending the concealer out as well as the brush, so I'm just going to continue to blend out using the brush. So guys, that is the concealer crayon blended out. It actually was more creamy than I thought it was going to be because it was a crayon. I was a bit scared it'd be a bit dry. It blended out quite well with the brush. It definitely brightens the under eyes and brings a little bit of contour where I lighten the chin, forehead and down the centre of the nose. I feel like it's not my favourite type of concealer because I don't really like crayons. I feel like I like a liquid concealer, but it's given definitely some coverage and helped. I wouldn't say it's like a full coverage, it's definitely more a light to medium coverage of concealer, but yeah, it looks okay, so we'll see how the rest of the makeup goes on top. So to move on to setting the face, I'm going to use the Contour Kit 3 Shade Sculpt and Define. This was £4, but it was actually in the sale for £2, so I will open this up and show you guys what it looks like. So you get a little brush and then the kit has 3 shades. So it comes with a little mirror and you get this sort of cool tone, more warm tone, and then this like yellow banana shade. So I think that yellow banana shade would be quite good for setting under the eyes. This little brush, let's see what it looks like. It's quite soft. I might just use it to see, just out of interest, what it's like. So I'm going to take that light, and actually the mirror is quite a good size and actually very clear in this little thing for the price. So I'm going to take that light banana shade with the little brush that it came with Just going to set that on dry area. Okay, so I'm not really loving that brush, so I'm going to go back in with my usual Sigma F35 tapered brush with that yellow shade and just pop that under the eye where the concealer was put to set. And I will put a little bit on my chin, a little bit on the centre of the forehead and down the centre of the nose. So I'm going to go in with my Bobbi Brown face blending brush, and I'm going to go in with the warm tone middle shade, and we will put this along the cheekbone and a little bit along the jaw. So we're doing a little bit of contouring now, and then bringing it up the temples and across the forehead. So the banana shade was very, very yellow. It sort of actually darkened my under eye a little bit from where the concealer was, so that's quite good if you've got more tan skin than me, but I feel like actually on myself the yellow was maybe a little bit too yellow and could do with being a bit lighter. Then guys, I'm going to go in with that cool tone shade, the first shade, and take that face blending brush, and I'm just going to put that on the very top part of the cheeks just to really chisel out that contour, so going sort of slightly under where we put that warm tone just to give it a little bit more depth. So guys, I think these two shades are better than the yellow, because the yellow was a little bit too yellow rather than being like a very pale yellow. It actually comes out quite a little bit darker on my fair skin, but the other two shades are quite nice for contouring, and for £2 at least, like, you haven't really wasted your money, even if only two of the shades are quite good. So next on to highlight, I picked up this PS Pure Glow highlight palette, and this was £5. I was very excited when I saw this. You get 4 highlighting shades. You get like a white light highlighter, then a pinky highlight, a gold, and actually both golds. The bottom gold is a little bit darker than the top gold, and I will just take off the covering as this was new. It really reminded me of the dupe for Anastasia glow palettes. The packaging, I feel like what they're doing here is kind of, yeah, semi-duping that Anastasia palette. So I will just swatch you these so you can see what they look like. So guys, that is the colour palette swatch, those glow kits. It's really pigmented, and the desert is the white one at the bottom. Then the next one is the glimmer shade, which is a lighter of the bronze shades. It's like a goldy shade, and then you've got the fire, which is more a deeper gold shade, and then you've got Eden at the top, which is like a pinky shimmer highlight. They don't have any glitter, they're just really pigmented and really beautiful. So I feel like with my skin colouring, I would probably need to do a mixture of the desert, the very light one, with then maybe a little bit of Eden, and which is a bit more pinky, and then a little bit of the glimmer, just to create the perfect one for myself. But I feel like because of the 4 shades, you really can mix and match. Or if you're more darker skin, something like the Firefly would be quite good. And then if you're super pale, desert, and then more medium skin tones, I feel glimmer would be good. And then a little bit more fair but not super porcelain, Eden would look quite nice on. So let's give these a go. So I'm going to go back in with my Sigma F35. So yeah, like I said, I feel for the price, I'm very impressed with these pigment and how buttery they were. They were really, really creamy. Like, I didn't have to go in a lot to get that amount of pigment. So just with my F35 Sigma brush, I'm just going to go into the palette and take a little bit of that desert mixed with Eden, and then a little bit of the glimmer, so that I'm creating my own little highlight shade. So guys, that is the highlight, the little combo mix of those 3 shades. You can see how beaming that is. It's just super blinding highlight. So I think of all the products I've used so far, I think this is definitely one of the most like impressive from Primark, because I'm just like, wow, that is a lot of pigment very, very quickly. So guys, to go on to brows, I'm going to go in with this brow pencil in shade Blonde from Primark, and this was £1. I thought blonde shades normally are quite good, and from the colour on the lid, I thought actually that looks quite good. And it does have a little spoolie. I'm just going to open it. It's got the plastic still on it. So guys, this is a little pencil head bit. You would have to sharpen that once it wears down, and then you've got the little spoolie bit on the other end. So there wasn't any testers of these, so I had to just go with the shade Blonde, thinking that that would work. So I'm going to take the spoolie side and just brush out my brows. And then I'm going to take the pencil side and just fill in my brows following the natural shape. So guys, that is the eyebrows done. I'm very impressed with this brow pencil. It's quite like a waxy consistency, so when it's applying you feel like it's going to stay put. It's not powdery or chalky, it's very creamy, but more like a waxy pencil. So it's very pigmented and I like that waxy texture. I feel like it looks nice on the brows, so quite a different consistency than a lot of other brow pencils. It's definitely more very soft, but with like a waxy feel, which yeah, I've actually never had a brow pencil that quite feels that consistency, so yeah, I really like that. So for eyes, I'm going to go back into that contour palette and I'm going to go in with my Morphe 433 brush, and I'm going to take that middle shade there just to use as a transition colour. Quite like using bronzing and contour colours on the crease because they're often a very good natural shade for transitioning. So I'm just blending left to right. And then I will go in with the E18 Morphe brush again with that middle contour colour and just pop that on the lower lash line. Then I'm going to go back into that Pure Glow highlighting palette and I'm going to go in with my Pro 15 brush from Sephora, and I'm going to take this shade Glimmer, which is that light golden shade, and I'm going to pop this on my eyelids. And then I'm going to take the shade Firefly, which is a little bit more of a darker gold shade, again with that 15 brush. Just going to pop that on the outer V again with that same brush. And then I'm going to take the shade Desert, just a very little bit of that, and pop that on the inner corner as a highlight. So guys, that is eyes done. You can really see how pigmented those highlighters are. They've gone on with no Fix Plus and they're really pigmented and really like super like shimmery. I absolutely love those. It's got like quite a metal effect, which I quite like. I'm going to go on to the liquid liner in shade Black. This was £1 from Primark as well. They had actually a few different, they had like a silver, a blue, some sparkle ones, but I thought actually just a simple black liner is one of my favourites. So this is what the head looks like. It is very black actually, which is good. It's a little brush style, so that should be good for getting nice and accurate liner. So I'm just going to pop some of this on and just follow close and tight into the lash line. So guys, that is liner done. I'm very impressed with that liner. I really like that it's a very black and very matte liquid liner, and the little nib head bit was really easy to do, really tight and neat liner. So for £1, really like. So for mascara, I picked up this Maxi Lash Top Lash Mascara and Mini Lash Lower Lash Mascara in shade Black for £2. So it's got a mascara head for your lower lashes and then a mascara for your upper lashes. So I thought that was quite cool and actually something that I don't have. So thought it would be a little bit different because most mascaras I have are just like basically one type of mascara, not two different types of heads, so that it suits upper and lower lashes. So I'll show you what the lashes mascara looks like. So this is the top lash mascara head, and I'll show you the bottom. So the bottom is much more neat and accurate style, and then that's bigger, fluffier. I don't know if the formula is any different on it or if it's just the brush head difference. So I'm just going to pop the mascara on now on the upper lash style one. I will pop the lower lash mascara on the lower lashes to see how that little brush applies. So guys, that is the mascara done. I think I prefer the upper lash mascara than the lower lash, because even though the concept is quite nice, I feel the upper lash brush gave more volume, and the lower lashes, even though it was a smaller little head, it wasn't like a super amazing mascara. I feel the top lashes mascara is just average. It's not like overwhelmingly wow, but then for £2 it's not that bad, but I wouldn't say it's the best ever mascara either. So guys, I picked up these full look false lashes from Primark for £1. I thought they were quite cool style, and I'm going to pop these on, and I will link below my video on how to apply false lashes if any of you guys want top tips, and I'll pop these on and come back to you. So guys, that is the false lashes applied. I really like those for £1, and I really like the fact that they came in a clear strip, so it wasn't like you've got a black line, so if you wanted to wear them without liner you could. So really like those for £1. I'll definitely be rebuying those again. For lips, I'm going to go on with this matte lipstick. This was £1.50. It's a matte long last lipstick, it says, and this is in shade Naked. You guys know how much I love my nude lipstick, so I thought let's stick with the nude shade from Primark. So the packaging looks really nice. I like the sort of matte effect and then the sort of shiny bit saying matte. And how do we get it open? Oh wow. Oh, there's the 150 stopping it. I was like, how does this open? Okay, so that's the shade. Looks very promising. So let's pop this on our lips. So guys, that is the lipstick on. The pigmentation is quite medium level of coverage, so I just had to put a couple of layers on to really build it up, but it's a beautiful shade. I also had a little bit of lip balm on underneath just so that it wouldn't be too like dry lip style, and yeah, the formula is not too matte, which I really like, but it definitely is a matte finish, and the shade Naked is really lovely. It's a beautiful sort of warm nude shade, so really like that, and for 150, really great lipstick. So guys, this is the finished makeup look using Primark makeup and giving you my first impressions. Now I thought it would be kind of good to let you know which products I thought were really worth buying and which products are maybe not so worth buying. First of all, the Pure Glow highlighting palette. I really like this. I think this was actually my favourite product of, well, definitely in the top favourite of all of the products I bought today, if not my favourite product I got from Primark. So really recommend this. And for £5 for highlighters, that's £1.25 per highlighter. And for the size of these highlighters, you get a lot of product, and the pigmentation is really great and will suit a lot of different skin colours, so really like that. The next product I really liked was the liquid eyeliner. It is really black, really nice consistency, really nice level of coverage when you're doing the wing or just normal liner, and also the accuracy of the little head made it really easy to apply, so really recommend picking this up for £1. I also recommend these full look false lashes. I really like how they look. They look quite natural but a little bit more glamorous and a little bit more drama, so really recommend those for £1. I think you really can't beat that. The lipstick I do really like and think it's really worth picking up for £1.50. The shade Naked's beautiful, looks lovely on the lips, so yeah, I think that's definitely worth picking up. And then the final thing that I think is definitely worth picking up is one of the brow pencils for £1. Super good, and actually really love the consistency and will be using this regularly. So the products that I think are just okay was the foundation. I think it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. It gives a medium coverage, and if you're on a budget for £2.50, you know, it's not really bad. And from just putting the dewy finish one on the back of my hand, I think for £1 or £3, depending if it's on the sale where you are, it's not an amazing foundation on the back of my hand, but I haven't done a full review of this, so I can't really say if it's worth getting or not, so I'll come back to you when I do a full review on that one. But for the liquid foundation, I think for £2.50 you can't really get foundations as cheap as this in other shops, so apart from Pound World or Poundland, but yeah, for £2.50 it's not bad. It's like kind of worth it, but then overall foundations in the big scheme of things, it's just quite an average foundation. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible, but for the price it probably makes it like semi worth it. If you're on a budget, actually you could wear this and still look good, because it definitely, like, I'm looking at my skin now, I'm like, it definitely gives coverage and it doesn't look terrible. The contour kit, I like the two warm shades, but I don't love that yellow shade. But again, for £2, you know, it's half price at the moment. £2 contour kit, you can't really get cheaper than that. So onto the crayon concealer. This wasn't one of my favourite products that I tried today, but it's not a terrible concealer, but it's just not naturally a product I would reach for or want to put on because it is a crayon concealer. I prefer liquid concealers, so I might try using this a little bit more because the coverage wasn't terrible and it did blend out actually quite easy with the brush, but I think Actually, no, I think this one is probably worth picking up for concealer because compared to other cheap concealers that are only £2, it did give more coverage than other cheap like pound store ones I've tried. It gave more coverage than that. So actually for a £2 concealer, it's not too bad. So guys, onto the mascara. I feel like this is probably my least favourite of all the products I tried today. It just wasn't like super amazing. It didn't give me amazing long lashes or really volume. I think if you were to miss any of these products, I would probably recommend giving this a miss because I wasn't like blown away. Even though I really like the idea of the top and lower lash different brushes, I feel like the formula of the mascara isn't super amazing. So guys, that is all my thoughts on my first impressions of Primark makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It's always great to hear from you guys as well, so do leave me a comment below. And thank you so much for everyone who does subscribe. It means so much to me. It's so great having you guys support and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys all have a really great week, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!